The collapse of the Soviet Union unleashed political, social, and ethnic tensions across its former republics, and the Tajik Soviet Socialist Republic, Tajik SSR, was no exception. What began as fragile instability spiraled into a devastating civil war from 1992 to 1997, marking one of the deadliest conflicts in post-Soviet Central Asia. Understanding how the Tajik SSR slid towards civil war requires examining the complex interplay of regional rivalries, ethnic divisions, political fragmentation, and economic hardship during the final years of Soviet rule and the chaotic early independence period. Ethnic and regional diversity amid Soviet rule. Tajikistan is a mountainous country with a patchwork of ethnic groups, including Tajiks, Uzbeks, Russians, and Pamiris, spread unevenly across distinct regions. Leninabad, Suft, in the north, Kolyab in the south, Garm and Gorno-Badakhshan in the east. Under Soviet rule, power was carefully balanced among regional elites to maintain stability. The Communist Party leadership rotated between these groups, preventing any single faction from dominating. Fragile Soviet stability cracks in the 1980s. The perestroika and glasnost reforms of the late 1980s initiated by Mikhail Gorbachev weakened centralized control and emboldened local groups to express long-suppressed grievances. In Tajikistan, economic stagnation and environmental degradation intensified frustrations. Corruption and nepotism among the party elite fostered resentment. Demands for greater political openness clashed with entrenched power holders. At the same time, religious identity, mainly Sunni Islam, began to reassert itself as a marker of cultural and political distinction, sometimes fueling conservative and nationalist sentiments. Political fragmentation and clan rivalries. The Soviet-era system had kept regional and clan rivalries in check, but as Moscow's grip loosened, these divisions exploded into open political conflict. In the early 1990s, the Communist Old Guard, mainly from Leninabad and Kolyab regions, resisted reforms. Emerging opposition groups from marginalized regions such as Garm and Badakhshan demanded political inclusion and economic development. The political arena became a battlefield for competing clans and regional factions vying for control over the future state. The failure to create a broad-based, inclusive political system heightened tensions. The 1990 elections and rising tensions. The first multi-party elections in 1990 brought further polarization. The Communist Party retained power but faced growing opposition from nationalist, Islamic, and democratic groups. Many opposition activists hailed from the Garm region and Pamiri minorities, feeling excluded from political and economic power. Violence and unrest began erupting between supporters of different factions. The central government struggled to assert authority amid growing disorder. Independence and the collapse of order. In 1991, Tajikistan declared independence from the Soviet Union, but the fragile balance collapsed entirely. Former Soviet security forces and local militias fractured along regional and political lines. Armed groups formed and clashes became common. The capital, Dushanbe, became a focal point of protests, demonstrations, and eventually violent confrontations. The descent into civil war. By 1992, the situation deteriorated into full-scale civil war. Rival factions, primarily divided by regional and clan loyalties, battled for control of the government. The United Tajik Opposition (UTO), a coalition of Islamists, Democrats, and regional groups from Garm and Badakhshan, challenged the Kolyab-dominated government forces. The conflict drew in neighboring countries and external actors, exacerbating violence. The slide of the Tajik SSR towards civil war was a tragic consequence of decades-long suppression of underlying divisions, economic hardship, and the sudden removal of a controlling Soviet framework. The collapse revealed deep-seated fractures in Tajik society and politics, turning a fragile peace into years of deadly conflict. The war's legacy still shapes Tajikistan's political landscape, emphasizing the challenges of building national unity in a diverse and divided society emerging from the shadows of empire.